Warning: Josh is not an expert in any of the things he talks about. He simply uses his head and does a lot of research so you, the audience, don't have to. Keep in mind, he doesn't know everything, so take the things he says with a grain of salt.
What is going on, everyone? This is Josh Said What, the podcast that'll change the world. Today, I have a very, very special guest. I've had her on my other show, Throwing Hands, before, and she is a dope-ass, phenomenal fighter. I have here with me the one and only Zurina Turrey. How's it going?
It's going well, my man. Living another day above the ground.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Not only above the ground, but on top of that cage, too.
Yeah.
That celebration after your last win.
Yeah, I had to stick my toes in the fence a little bit. It's my first time jumping up on a cage, but I promise I hop walls a lot better than that.
I love it. And so tell me, how you been feeling after that win? Because it was, I forget her name, Claire, right?
Yeah, Claire Guthrie.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that first round TKO on her, right?
I did. It feels fantastic, man. Like I wouldn't appreciate her attitude too much. So really to just kind of like put her out in the first round, like I said I was going to, it really just felt phenomenal.
Yeah, I could tell too. Like me and James were talking, like that fight, you came out with a lot more aggression than we typically see. It's
Yeah.
like in your first two fights, you know, like you gauge, you get understanding, but you capitalize. But when you fought Claire, it was like straight from the get-go.
Yeah, man. Just this is the things that she said. Sometimes like. I just didn't appreciate a lot of the things that she did have to say about me, which kind of brought out a nastier side of me, and it was just it was a pretty vicious fight. Yeah, I was mad. My uncle called me actually right after the fight and said, "Mija, were you mad?" I said, "Yeah, Tio, I was."
I love that. Yeah, did you guys end up shaking hands or anything?
She did.
Nice.
We I'm not sure. I mean, it could have been the spur of the moment, or maybe just something I wanted to hear. But I'm pretty sure she said sorry after we had hugged and we hugged it out. So I hugged her a little tighter because I appreciated that. I appreciated the humbleness coming from that corner.
Yeah, and that's always like the love-hate relationship that you have with this sport, because at the same time, you know, you have like the Colby Covingtons that do all the trash talk to kind of draw the appeal, sell tickets,
Colby
everything.
Covington.
And then right afterwards, you know, it's like if they get the loss, then you have to be humble.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird dynamic with this sport, but it's also really cool at the same time.
Yeah. But that getting that win just meant a lot to me, and I'm in the finals now, and you know I have my fight versus Cloudy in December. They actually moved it to the Friday because of the Conor McGregor.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. So, yeah, so it'll be that Friday, I believe, instead of Saturday, which is going to be crazy because then I get Saturday and Sunday, you know, to like kind of like hang out with the family too. It's not like Sunday and then boom, got to go back to whatever life you have living.
Yeah. And so tell me about that aspect, because I feel like not a lot of people truly understand, like, especially with the up-and-coming pro, the fact that you still have to balance between work, your personal life, taking care of all your bills, and then also getting in training and then fighting.
Yeah, I've been blessed. Like, I work for the Phoenix School District. I work for the Phoenix School District, and so they've been I have a great team behind me. Shout out to all the great kids at Alhambra High School, man. You guys are awesome. And but they really like allowed me to take that week off and even time after my fight just to kind of like soak it in, enjoy it with the family. We had rented an Airbnb and had lots of fun. You know, family came over, cooked, and we just partied. But working that balance is difficult because you're like you got things to do, and then you get paid for MMA, and it's like, okay, well, what do I do with this money? You know, am I saving it? We have taxes to pay. We have all kinds of stuff to kind of like keep track of. So really just you got to make sure you not leaving loose ends out. You got to really just grab your ends and close them and figure out what your next step is. Like, yes, you're taking it day by day, but you still got to look in the future a little. Yeah.
That's why I give you guys so much respect, and why I consider it a genuine privilege to be a part of this generation, because, you know, it takes so much personal growth, it takes so much discipline, humbleness, as well as dedication to be able to make something like this work, because you could go through a 3-5 round war, and then the next day you have to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
So it's major respect to you guys.
I wonder if this next one's going to be a 5-5.
That's right, because it's going to be the title
for
belt.
the belt.
How does that feel for you too?
It's gonna be my first bout. I've said it in plenty of interviews. I know you've heard me. Never had one before. I would really love to bring one back to my home Legion and back to Phoenix.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And what does you, or how do you feel about that too, saying about the talent that's growing up here in Phoenix?
I think it's phenomenal. I think the more kids that can get out there and become professional athletes, become anything that they dream and aspire, you know, not working out in the sun, you know, working in the sun gives you cancer, gives you skin cancer, you know, working hard and all this stuff. But, man, I hope that the new talent really starts popping up here. And I can feel it. Like, I feel like they have built more facilities, like more gyms are starting to pop up. You know, people are starting to step up and really just like, okay, yeah, like we may not know a whole lot, but let's try and get the school started. Even like I've seen like plenty of backyard gyms. Like
that's right.
Yeah, shout out to my coach Chris. He has his own. He's always doing his workout in his backyard, man. Like that's real work back there, wherever it starts.
That is, especially with this heat too. Like
Yeah.
I think people from out of states truly don't grasp how freaking hot it is here. When it hits triple digits and just straight dry heat, it's like walking with a blow dryer in front of your face every second of the day.
Yeah, my AC recently went out too a little. Well, it's not like fully out, but like half of the vent system is working. So like that's, I mean, when I missed weight with Veronica the first time, called my coach, you know, obviously frustrated and like in tears. He said, leave the sauna suit on, come to tryouts, like literally with the AC off. And my wife and I literally drove all the way to weigh-ins, you know, in a sauna suit, just trying to cut off any extra weight we could because we owed it to our opponent.
Yeah.
We owed it to her.
Yeah, and that was back when you were fighting for Ruff, right?
No, that was for Veronica.
Oh, Veronica.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
because I had texted Miss Sophia and I had said, hey, you know, I'm more than likely not gonna make weight that night or some 12 a.m. something like that. I texted her just to let her know out of courtesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be courteous. In a sport full of violence, you gotta be courteous.
Exactly. You want to be like Hamza Chimaev, for example. How I think it was when he was supposed to fight Nate Diaz, and he was like 8 pounds overweight.
Who is that?
Khamzat Chimaev. He's that. I think his nickname is the Wolf. He's the bald guy with a big beard. I think he's from the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia.
If it was a Nate Diaz fight, I more than likely watched it.
Yeah. And it's crazy too what you guys have to go through with weight cuts because like that, for example, you have so many factors that goes on to it with counting your calories, watching every single thing you take in, your water intake, and what you have to do to sweat it all out.
But I'll tell you what, if you do it correctly, it's just boom, it's day and night compared to when you're disorganized and like trying to do shit like, yeah, I think I had like this and that. Like no, like this camp, I wrote everything down in a logbook, and I fucking knew exactly what I had at the end of the day.
Nice.
That's the way it got to be.
Yeah.
Especially if you're professional. Yeah.
I did a weight cut last year just to see what it was like to kind of like get a better understanding. Yeah, no, it was all just like trial and error. I fucked up the first time with it because when I was trying to weigh in, I was off by just 2 pounds, going for 155. And then because my metabolism kicked back up, I ballooned up again like 20 pounds. And then just trying to figure out what I was doing, I ended up dropping all of it down. I think I dropped like 20 pounds like 3 days just doing nothing but bike and sauna. That is insane,
and that's because you're a male. Yeah, like women can't drop weight like that. No, we cannot. I've tried, and we cannot. But like I've learned little tricks like eating a tablespoon of honey right before weigh-ins. You know, it gets your body not too far ahead of weigh-ins, but like if you're really feeling down, it's just something that your body can metabolize pretty fast, and it's not adding like extra ounces or anything like that on you.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
next time I do a weight cut, I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, it's really nice. I did that, and actually, my mom was yelling at me. She's, "You sure you gotta eat that? Like you're, oh my god!" I'm like, "Trust me, woman, I got this. I know I'm on weight this time for sure."
I love that.
Not again, never again.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me about growing up. You know, how's life growing up for you?
Growing up for me was fun. I played a lot in the backyard. I played a lot with my dogs. I played a lot with my brothers and cousins. I honestly just played a lot. Yeah, I didn't have too much of a serious life. I was really able to like live in like my fantasy, like kind of like playing like with smoke guns, and you know, I used to put a stick through a cement fence and put my dog's leash through there and ride it like a horse. You know, kind of like just some James Dean shit. And but growing up for me was fun, terrific. I had a family that loved me. I still have, family that loves me and everything, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what point in your life that you decided you want to take the step forward in doing mixed martial arts?
So I remember I actually I called my mom, and it was a little after I had worked with one of my best friends. He wanted to do like SEO company, so search engine optimization. I can
Okay.
barely remember what it's called now. But that kind of like just flatlined, and I remember calling my mom. I said, "Mom, one day we're gonna have so much money, like, and that's my goal. That's my motivation is money. I want these contracts to be like big." And
Yeah.
so that's what I said, and I was watching MMA one day because we were like pretty familiar with it. We used to just barbecue and shit and do our own stuff, have a few brews, and I remember I said watching the TV, I was like, I could beat that girl up. I was like, I really feel like I could beat that girl up.
Yeah.
And so from there, my brother, like I've said previously, he helped Daniel Madrid, my head coach, with wrestling, just a little bit of wrestling, not even like a full camp, just opted to help him. And from there, he said, "Hey, man, Legion is like a home." He's like, "Those people are nice. Those people are kind. He'd fit in there." So I went there, and that's where it all started.
Nice. And you got a lot of major talent there, too, like Ali Muhammad. I see Austin Worms, Enrique also jump in there, even Greg Smith, too.
Yeah, all those guys, man. Those guys hit hard. Aleem just came off his win with Rough, even lesser time than me, so I'm a little bit jealous, but I still love that fucker. Man, that guy is biggest motivation in our gym, and he says all the time, like, I'm the one creating the momentum, but these guys need to look in the mirror because it's definitely like it's coming from somewhere, and it's those guys right there. Those guys are my brothers, dude. Yeah, those guys are fantastic. They're always consistent. I look up to them because they're always consistent. They're always doing the things that need to be done, and they know exactly what it takes, and I want to be like that. Sometimes I can fall a little inconsistent. I come from a background where, like, we love to party. We love to, have festivals or fiestas and shit, and to watch those guys, like, dedicate so much time every single fucking week is, like, inspiring.
Yeah, it takes a lot of sacrifice, too, because when you're in the midst of training or you're getting ready for a fight or even any of that, it takes away a lot from, like, your personal life of trying
and
to
Aleem has a kid and a wife.
Oh, I didn't. That's right.
So,
I met
like,
them at the Waynes last time.
So that's like double, like a baby and like MMA, like, oh my God. And his baby comes to the gym all the time, and he like, I'll say hi to him and stuff, but like, man, like I couldn't imagine like growing up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was playing in the back with my fucking dog and the stick.
Yeah.
And like these kids are literally like, they could kick the shit out of, like, they could compete. They could compete at their little levels.
Yeah. That's crazy. And so, other than playing with your dog, doing the stick and the riding horse, did you ever play war?
Rock war, yeah, dirt clot war, all kinds of war, man. Yeah, we played all kinds of war. We even had a tree in the back. I'm pretty sure we would just like stab and watch that come out and just kind of like play like little stuff,
Yeah.
But dirt clot war, actually, funny story. My cousin Joshua, we were playing in the back of my nana's house, and we had flipped over a table. It was standing like this and had a nail sticking through it. Dude goes to cover and just nail, and so you can still kind of see the dot there. So it's kind of like cool memory every time I see him. You see the little dot, and I'm like, yeah, they almost got you, didn't they? You ducked for what?
I love that. Yeah, I remember as a growing up doing all kinds of stupid shit, or I like even do the stupid stuff where you have all the BB guns, or if you don't have that, you just pull out the stick and then you just start fighting each other with it. I tell you one thing, I fell off a tree one time when I was jumping on the trampoline. Oh yeah, no, I went straight through the like little side spot.
The springs.
Yeah, the springs, and I just shredded my shin right on there. It was so brutal. It was worth it though.
Did it? Do you still have the scar?
No, it actually, funny enough, it actually healed up pretty well.
Yeah.
I do have a scar like right here, then on my shoulder, because there was one time I was riding on my friend's like small little BMX bike, and we were just going around selling lemonade. We're shirtless, we're little boys, we're just screwing around having fun. And this was up in Nevada where it's like you still got the desert. So my shoelace, or my shoe was untied, I didn't realize that. And the shoelace caught in the in the chain.
Yeah.
I ended up springing forward and just like going right on the road for like 3-4 feet, just shredding all up here.
Dude, what's wrong in Nevada?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Nevada's insane.
Yeah.
That desert is it's sketchy out there in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely say though, I'd rather take the heat out in Nevada than here in Arizona. Because out in Nevada, it gets cold enough where there's snow.
Why?
I have no idea. It's
Why?
crazy up in there.
Why is snowing in Nevada?
I was like up on the way, like northern side, like
Yeah.
small towns, like Silver Springs, Fernley, like even like Reno, like Carson area. Like sometimes it does snow there. So there's like one instance where it snowed so much, my brother literally made a giant snowball that stood like this tall.
That's cool. That's
He would
awesome.
just push you up and down the street.
I love snow. That shit burns though.
It
Yeah, if you
does.
don't got gloves, that shit burns.
Yeah.
But you know what trips me out about Nevada is it looks like people just picked dirt up and moved it. Like, you ever look around?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. It looks very government touched
Yeah.
state.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny too, like Las Vegas, the whole like weather there is so different than like on the northern side, because like, you know, Flagstaff, it gets all kinds of snow, but then here in Phoenix there's like no such thing as snow.
You
So
can
it's
see
just as
snow caps,
bipolar.
but that's about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when we got snow up on the Superstition?
I think so, yeah.
Dude, that was so crazy. Everyone was like, what the fuck is that snow? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Mike Kennedy. He's another fighter out in Flagstaff. I think he just posted a picture where he was up on that mountain, I think, and there's just like this small little patch of snow, and it was just like, oh, his kids were playing with it, having fun.
But why does it snow in Nevada? That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I've only been to Nevada once for a bachelor party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never I've been to Nevada, I've been to Iowa now, California, Mexico. But other than that, no, I'm really excited to travel for MMA. And the MMA's let me travel more.
Hey,
yeah, I
that's what's
haven't
up.
traveled except for MMA, really.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's the cool part too, is that you get to kind of capitalize on this career to also like explore your other hobbies and get to experience more of the States, even if you have opportunities where you could go overseas.
Yeah, that's sketchy. But I'd love it. My cousin is overseas in Japan right now for the Marine
really?
Corps. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's
Yeah.
up.
I know, man. I miss him.
Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. So, if you could have like anywhere in the world where you wanted to have a fight event at, what would it be?
Russia.
Russia?
Yeah.
Hey, why's that?
I heard they have the baddest bitches, so just take me where they are.
I
Yeah.
love it. You know, it's actually, I don't know, you ever watch Epic Rap Battles of History when you're in school?
Epic rap battles. No.
They always did like these stupid like skits where it's like Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers, or they did like Miley Cyrus versus Joan the Arc, but they do all these gimmicky stuff where they're just constantly going back and forth dissing each other. And they did one with Stalin versus Mussolini.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You Stalin?
That was actually how I picked up learning how to do like a Russian accent. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
oh no, I think Mussolini.
Oh.
I could have that name wrong. He's that one dude with the beard that was like super superstitious with the Tsar before Stalin and Vladimir Lenin came into power.
I probably have seen them, man, but honestly, my memory is just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
have-
okay, mine too.
But pictures, I can recognize pictures. Like you show me, I'm like, dude, I've seen this guy
Mhm.
before. Like, why didn't you tell me it was him?
Yeah, he has like these buggy eyes and like a long beard, always dresses like a monk.
I feel
And
like
they're-
I feel like he looks like my high school AP history teacher.
Oh really?
Mr. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I know who you're talking about now. Just by thinking of that dude, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and so it was the Epic Rap Battles of History. That's how I learned to do like a Russian accent. Like I can't speak it for shit, but I'll be like, "Donde estará kinifish broken no shaviata titana noshka."
I would do German.
German, do
Ich liebe. Ich liebe cookies. I think that's like ich liebe. No, I can't remember I can't remember how to do it, but that's I love cookies.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
there
love
you go.
cookies.
Yeah, see, I don't know any Russian at all. I know, I think it's Japanese. Oyo gozaimasu. It's like, hi, how you doing today?
That sounds delicious. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And so one thing I actually wanted to pick your brain on, because I know you work a lot with kids. You know, that last interview we had you on, you talked a lot about how you work with kids. How do you feel about the community here in Phoenix, and especially with the efforts now putting in within our generation, the example that we're setting for the younger kids here?
For like through MMA,
Yeah, through MMA, like the community service I've seen you do.
I think like MMA, like at least from my standpoint, everyone actually treats me a lot different than I thought they would treat me. You know, I thought people would think that it's a violent, bloody sport, like really, but I've come to learn like people really respect fighters. You know, they respect the dedication, the humbleness, all the training that comes with it, and I think that if they wanted their kid to be something, it would be something like maybe not like a professional fighter, but to follow in the footsteps. And I feel like in Phoenix we have a really good community. I mean, I have my family, I know for a fact, like raised me with love and raised me with respect for my neighbor, for my people, for my city. I think we got a great community going, but it's just, you know, there's always a couple bad apples in the city.
Yeah, that's why I definitely want to get more active in the community here, because I mean, unfortunately we've seen like some up cases and like with some violence that happens in the streets, drugs.
Domestic violence is a big one that I cannot stand.
Same. So it's like I definitely love the type of impact that MMA could have on it, because it pulls the kids off the streets, gets them into the gym, teaches them the sense of discipline, camaraderie, brotherhood, respect, humility, and all that.
Even ones with like learning disabilities, like I have like ADHD, and honestly, like I haven't really had to take like Adderall in so long, just because I feel like my mental focus has been like on point. You know, just because like I could sit there and jump rope for 20 minutes and not move a muscle.
Same. I wish I could still jump rope the same. That's the beginning of this year. I actually hurt both of my knees. I think it's just wear and tear from my stupid ass running with bad shoes on concrete. But I was like jump roping like 10, 15 minutes at a time. But I was working on the stationary bike. That's my heaven right there.
Did you do high school sports?
I didn't. I wish I did, though. I didn't.
And you know what's sad? Like I think that we really need to teach kids like the I don't know how to say this, like you need to be more self-conscious of stretching. I've been an athlete throughout high school. I was a seasonal athlete. And I never once stretched until I was 24, until I ended up having sciatica issues. I never strengthened my ligaments until I tore a ligament. You know, like the kids, they gotta realize like it's your body. It's gonna literally be with you forever. Like treat it right, stretch. You know, take some time. Don't stress too much. You're still growing. When do you feel like you completely grew up, like body wise? I feel like mine was like 23.
Wait a second.
23. Like I was like physically like done growing.
I'd say probably about the same, like 22, 23. Yeah, I'm mad because I'm the shortest of my brothers, and it was like I have to get taller. And I got stunted, like just an inch below my brother. So I'm like, motherfucker.
But you didn't get stunted. You were just like, your body, I think, needed like shit other places. Like, you know? Yeah. If you were to be taller, imagine how your knees would feel right now. Oh, my God.
That's why I feel like some of my knee pain comes from, because I remember when I was a kid, like, you know how some kids, their shin bones actually grow out a little longer, so they stick out and you get some pains here.
Oh yeah, and they have to like do surgery or something to repair it.
Yeah. I never had like any surgery, but like I had that issue, so it was like you could just do that and it'd be throbbing pain in both of my knees here. So it was like my body was weird like that.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah,
but I've never really had anything. The only thing I really had was like was my appendix removed.
Same.
So, and that shit's crazy because like it literally dissolves bones. You know, and we don't need that shit no more. Like, everything we eat is boneless. Well, at least not me. I'm more like a traditional girl, but... Yeah.
When did you get your appendix removed?
Second grade.
Second grade?
Yeah, second grade. It was the most awesomest shit. Shout out to Phoenix Children's Hospital for taking care of all these cute little babies, man. And but they literally sent me cards, and they had the game system to play there.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what keeps us happy. That's what keeps you going. Like, to take your mind off that shit. I didn't even realize I was in the hospital. I was having the time of my life. Yeah.
I love it. I almost died from appendicitis, I think 3 years ago, because I was actually living here at the time before I'd moved to Havasu and then came back. But I blamed it on mac and cheese, but it was just my appendix gave out. and I was like having bad stomach cramps, and I was like, okay, I can't do it anymore because it was so bad. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me straight up, if you would have waited like another day, they would have burst in. They would have cut me open from hip to hip. So they would say I was like so close.
It's such acidic, like whatever you want to call it, that it would literally eat your organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like it bursts open your intestines, and then you get sepsis, all that.
Yep, because that stuff is just as toxic.
Yeah.
The stuff that dissolves your food. I'm trying to figure out. I'm sorry, my mind went to like where in the line of your intestine the acid really goes away.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it.
You know, I own like 3 textbooks on human anatomy.
Me too.
And I still haven't touched it yet.
I have 2 now.
Okay.
I have 2, and I open them pretty frequently.
Nah.
But I just try and like read and learn a little bit. I really shied away from reading like between my like 7th to like in 24, 25. I barely got back into reading.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I love it.
Hey, what kind of books do you read?
Mostly just things that are like about history, like anatomy,
Hey.
cookbooks. I love cookbooks. I love cooking. What else do I got right now? We got some like horror. We have some like fantasy stuff. It's pretty really cool. Like, you ever read one of those books? Like a fantasy book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
an adult fantasy book?
Oh, the adult fantasy? No, that I haven't read.
I probably should have said adult before fantasy.
It's people always make fun of me because I'm super weird with how I read books. I always read 4 books at a time, but it's not like I don't really read a lot of fiction. It's like history, philosophy, science. Like I've read books across like over a span of 2,000 plus years, and then I read 2 textbooks simultaneously. Yeah.
How do you have the capacity for that?
I don't.
Yeah. That's what. But we just like to bite off more than we could chew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just
Yeah.
keep hope it sticks.
Exactly. And, you know, I've always had the mentality that, like, when I was, like, 14, 15, I had 2 goals I set for myself. One was to learn everything, even though it's not achievable, but it's a motivator, and then to change the world. And my first goal, you know, at the same time, I accept that everything I know and can learn can be entirely wrong. So I kind of have it with that humble approach.
You have trust issues.
A little bit. No, okay.
Everyone does.
But like I've read, like Socrates, for example, I talk about him all the time where like he questions everything that we know. Like at the end of the day, when you look at everything that we've learned now, it all came from someone before, and that someone learned it from someone else, influenced by someone else. And it's like,
trust me, bro.
Exactly.
It's like that. Trust me, bro. I know this that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite book at all?
Honestly, the one that I would say would be the astronomy book that me and my wife had gotten recently, because it really like taught us how to like map out the stars and like look at signs and shit, and we're like so into that. Dude, I'm like, yeah, you see that star over there by the moon? That means I'm gonna have a good day. Yeah, like it's really, and it's beautiful because it really like, I think I was getting like overwhelmed, like, but like now I'm like, dude, like I'm just like literally a little person on a little planet. Floating in the middle of big ass space, like it's perfect.
You know, funny enough, that's one of my favorite subjects is astronomy.
Astronomy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always loved just the concept of space, and like when I die, I'd rather be flown up into space and just float for eternity.
That's so weird.
Really?
It's just so like cold, like not cold, but like, those stars just burn so bright and they're so far away. I just like, I don't know. This comes back to that. How do you know? Like, you know, how do you know they're really up there? Kind of thing. Like we can't.
Are we actually in a dome?
Yeah, yeah. What is that movie? With the.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, that was a good fucking movie too. That shit was sad when he like everything was a lie. And I'm like, dude.
The Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Yeah, that's right.
You. Told you my memory was shot.
It's okay, mine too. I flood my head with so much information that I've accepted I can't learn everything, but I go for the wisdom.
But you can try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I think one of my favorite subjects is definitely philosophy, because like I've read books like from ancient Greece, even across like other different countries, like Body, Mind, and Spirit by Nathaniel Armstrong. That's a book that I read too, and it was really cool to read about that.
What is that like? More like what is it about?
So Body, Mind, and Spirit, it's actually it kind of talks about mysticism, like in tangent also with like love and like your healing as well. So like a story from that book was that there's this ancient kingdom, and the king was stuck in a crossroads where there's a massive plague running through his kingdom. He had to either let them stay and it wipes out the whole kingdom, or kick them all out. Well, eventually he decided to kick out all the people that were sick. But then all the people that were stranded had healers that came in, took them all in, healed them, took care of them, and they all came to a full recovery. And what Body, Mind, and Spirit ultimately came through is that, you know, love and compassion for others is the greatest healing factor of all, because it wasn't just the herbs that helped heal those people with the plague. It was the genuine love and caring to care for that person. So that's where, like, me also coming from a rough background, that's where it really taught me a lot about love and the value of it.
That's the same where it comes with kids. Like, you cannot raise a child without love and compassion and patience. You know, that's a good book. What was it called again?
Body, Mind, and Spirit.
Body, Mind. It's a philosophy book?
Yeah.
I don't get too into philosophy because I'm already in my own head. Like, I feel like I just don't need a philosophy. But I might have to check that out. But that's crazy. But what are you going to do? Like, you know, you have to protect people also. You know, you have to kick them out and just hope that someone else, another human being, has that same compassion and love or whatever, and try and heal them. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I love about reading, because you get to learn so much. Like another book that I read, The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power by Vernon Howard, he talked about how you have a true self and a false self. Your true self is all the positive and great things about you in every form, and your false self is all the negative things. So anger, depression, envy, laziness, stuff, all that. And we all are trapped in this state where we identify our false self as our true self. So when, like, for example, when we say we're depressed or we're angry, that's actually your false self. And he identified that the way that you could separate that is refer to your false self as it. So instead of saying I'm feeling afraid, you say it's afraid. So it's like I feel
like that's gonna summon something from a third world I don't need to be dealing with.
It is mysticism.
Have you seen the movie Split Personality movie?
Split.
Where at the end, I'm Patricia.
That's right, Split.
It was Patricia. Yeah, it wasn't me. It was Patricia.
That was part of that. That was the surprise sequel to Unbreakable with Bruce Willis.
I have not seen Unbreakable.
Oh, you gotta check it out. It's really cool.
Hulu?
Unbreakable. It has Bruce Willis. So he survived this train wreck where everybody died except for himself. And he found out that he's completely impervious, like all damage. He also has super strength and all that, but he has a weakness for water. And it was like, had to been like 12 plus years ago, but Split ended up being a sequel to it, and that's when the movie Glass came out.
Whoa, man. Yeah, I've been training I literally have been watching movies back to back to back. I have like so much catching up to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just feel like I never had time to like turn on the TV and like watch movies and shit. So I've been having a phenomenal time like watching back to back. I watched New Jack City.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
Nice. I haven't seen that in so long.
That with Ice-T and Pookie.
Oh,
and,
that's right.
Wesley Snipes.
That's right.
Yeah, Blade.
Well, what would you say your favorite movie is?
My favorite movie. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a hard question. Off the tip of my tongue, like the one that's coming to mind, I would say is Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump? Nice.
Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump. I think I've seen that movie a total like 8 times.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I just love that. Like, you know, he goes to war. I mean, it's so like, to me, it's just so like America back in the day. The dude went to war. You know, he found a black friend, Bubba. That guy ended up dying, but he had a dream to make a Bubba boat. You know, like everyone has these dreams, like you're not always able to fulfill them. But and he passed it on to Forrest Gump, and Forrest Gump ended up doing that for him with Lieutenant Dan. We're in the boat, and he's like, Lieutenant Dan, Lieutenant Dan, Lieutenant Dan. And so that's just like kind of aspiring, like even if you know you don't get to see other people fulfill their dreams, like you always carry on someone else's legacy for them. And it doesn't have to be like a shrimp restaurant. It could be like as simple as loving your neighbor. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's what I love about like movies, storytelling, it's also built with a sense of truth in regards to like what lessons you're trying to teach.
Yeah.
Because our species is built off of learning lessons through storytelling. So that's why I really like Forrest Gump, because that was really good in the sense of love thy neighbor, be good, and do good unto others.
That's crazy though. I'm tripped out about that last thing you said about the referring to it as it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm like low key super emo. Like I love like I like, man, just I have been like grew up pretty like depressed. Like even though I seem like a super happy person, but like you said, that could be my true self, just trying to like put it out.
Yeah.
Put it out. So.
Yeah, that's why like for a long time, because I don't know if you believe in ghosts at all, but
I do.
Yeah, so
that's why I'm not fucking with like I don't want to say it, because then there's gonna be a motherfucker like a 12-foot shadow standing behind me.
Right. There was this one time when I was a kid, I had to have been like in like second grade, that I felt like a ghost like straight up grabbed my leg like that, and for the longest time I had this irrational fear of the dark because of it. But then when I read the book The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power, whenever I'd have that sense of fear, I would just constantly sit there and tell myself, it's not afraid. I'm not afraid because I'm real. It isn't. And it's like when you treat your false self as this separate entity, like think of it as like a wild animal that's cornered.
Yeah.
It turns feral when it's at its last resort and it's having to, go all out in that sense. And your false self, when there's no smoke and mirrors to hide and disguise like all the mirage and the things that it does, it becomes rabid to try to convince you that it's still real. And that's when it's at its weakest.
That's sketchy shit.
Yeah. It's psychology, philosophy are like my two favorite subjects.
So you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Yeah, so I can remember, and like now that I'm older, I just don't know if the story is true or not, but I would tell it anyway. So anyways, my uncle was in Mexico. I guess our family used to own a barber shop in Mexico at some point or something like that.
Okay.
They went out to visit. In the middle of the night, he woke up and seen this lady like in a white dress, and he decided not to follow it. He decided to go back inside, but she was telling him like, come here, come here, come here.
No shit.
And so the next morning he woke up, I guess his abuelita said like, hey, like, you okay? Like, is something like wrong or whatever? And he told her what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, I know. If you would have went with that woman, you would not be here today. Yeah, could you imagine?
Bro, that's insane. That's crazy that you say that too, because my dad always jokes he has this lady in a white dress that always follows him around everywhere. I've seen it too.
You have?
Yeah. There was one time I was home alone, and I know that I wasn't just crazy because all of a sudden I see a white figure going into my dad's room. All of a sudden my dad's dog, this little pug, bolted after it. Just started chasing after it, huffing and puffing, and started barking at it a little bit.
They get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs can sense that shit.
Oh, yeah.
My dog scared the shit out of me the other day, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and my grandpa recently passed away, and, like, I'm not sure, like, if it's friendly or foe, but, like, still seeing a dog get upset like that sends shivers down your spine.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like kids, too, kind of have that connection.
Like, that sense of something's not fucking right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because since they're still so fresh to life, it's like their minds are still open to it.
Do you remember when you first, like, seen something for the first time? Like, ever opened your eyes? Mine was running in the back of my nana's house, like, in a pamper. And then, bam, my eyes were just open. And then my mom was actually calling for me, like, get your ass back in the house. Like, fucking running around in a diaper. And
I think I do. I think the first time, like, I remember something like that, I asked my mom, why can't I see my face?
What?
Yeah,
that's scary shit too.
Well,
man.
It's like, cause like you can see yourself in a mirror, but you can't exactly see your own face.
Yeah.
So I think that was
that's true.
Yeah, I was like 5 years old, and I was like, Mom, why can't I see my face?
Cause you're still so innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm just here for the party.
Exactly, and that actually that brought up another book that I read. The Secret History of the World by Mark Booth. It's all about like all these ancient societies, and it talked about how, according to their history, way back when, our minds used to be completely open to everything. So like we could understand each other's thoughts, exactly. and we're completely open to everything, both in the physical realm and the spiritual realm.
You think that's why, like, if you ever have like your best friend and like you guys finish each other's sentences? Yeah. Because you're like telepathically talking. It's like literally a vibe between you. You're like, you. That's why I literally, if I have a gut feeling that like I don't like somebody, like it's for a reason, because I feel spiritually connected still. I need to check that Mark Booth book out.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he talks about too how like as time progressed, matter started to condense and become hardened, and so did our minds. So as time progressed, we ended up being enclosed to where we can no longer like see and witness the whole spiritual realm, you know, understand each other's emotions and thoughts and everything. And that's why I feel like it's starting to happen now in today's era. We're starting to open up again.
Yeah, it always comes like back and back and back. And honestly, that's one thing I admire about these like this new generation of kids. Like, man, those kids were put through hell with like COVID and like everything. Like those kids went through like I can't even imagine. And I was just like a little skate rat in high school, you know, and these kids were like barred up and like had so much shit to do, had to make sure that they were on the web, on like filling out forms, filling out shit. But man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that the whole COVID lockdowns, that was a crazy time.
Yeah.
And it was so weird too, because like I don't know how far you wanted to like dabble into that conversation, but just like how we as a people were treated.
Yeah.
In a sense, like we were just expected to isolate ourselves from our own families, our own friends. We couldn't get in groups of like 5-10 people depending where you're at, and we were just like forced to stay inside.
I feel like well, I don't want to get too crazy, but
this is pre-recorded, so I can always edit stuff out.
But like I don't want to get too crazy in conspiracy, because like I'm a big, like, not conspiracy theorist, but, like, I believe that people feel a way for a reason. Like, back to the spiritual thing. Like, if you feel like someone is being rude to you, like, they probably are, because you're feeling it, like, you know, for a reason. You can feel the energy. You can feel the vibe. And that's what I felt with, like, COVID, too. Like, they were just trying to, like, wedge and block and, like, deter, like, all these, like, families and all the things, that connections that had been, like, happening. But, yeah, COVID was crazy.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of rumors kind of circulating online that apparently they're going to try to bring back the COVID lockdowns.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
I have not.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, because it's with so much information that's going around, and it's so hard to decipher what's true and not true.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Especially with TikTok. Yeah, but honestly, like, TikTok is, it's like, you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think social platforms should be, like a Vine, like, you know, just for funny shit. Like, I don't want to go and like scroll and like find out that my government's been lying to me for 28 years. Like, I just want to like go and laugh my ass off, you know. But like, it's really like, I wouldn't say like so reliable. You got to know what you're looking for, but definitely like I would say I trust about 65 to 70% of the shit I see on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's real country shit. Like, you see the bombs dropping overseas. You see all kinds of other, like, real world problems that people face. And it's just like, man, like, it's just, I can't believe, like, we were just so blind to it, you know, so blind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why, like a lot of stuff that's going on in Maui right now, which, shout out to Maui, you know, I hope you guys are okay. It's crazy what's going on over there. Like, I've been seeing the stuff on TikTok where I guess the citizens whose places didn't burn down, they're now getting evicted by the mayor and by the local government. And like even BJ Penn, he was at one of the meetings and was calling out their Hawaiian government for just like how they handled the whole thing.
It's the vultures, man, and I bet you anything, once they grab those homes, you know what you're gonna see? High rises. Yep. That's my biggest thing is like I see lots of land getting nice and tidied up around here in Phoenix, and it's like people buy this shit for a reason. Like, yeah, they just, you know, people can't hold it no more. Families get desperate, whatever the case may be. Natural disasters, fires. That is sad, man. And Hawaii is such a beautiful place. Like, it's literally an island. Like, I've never been to Hawaii before, but I've seen people that have been to Hawaii, and they bring me back like coffee beans. Like, these coffee beans are like magical. I've never had such good coffee, like, except from Hawaii. Like, that coffee was fucking bomb. Yeah, they have one of the best coffee beans I ever tasted in my life. Yeah,
that's crazy. I still haven't been to Hawaii either. I've always wanted to go there too, just to experience the ocean experience just the whole like
The
wildlife
culture,
scene of it.
like the people, like their fucking heart, their will, their like soul. It just seems so like natural and intact, almost like Native Americans. Like they seem so like connected to the soul and everything like that. Like, yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. That's what I feel like we need to get back to a lot, is that like get more like enrooted with nature in that sense. Because when like kind of going with that secret history of the world, we become so caught up in the modern world. Everything's turning into like George Orwell or like
Solar
Atlas
panels,
Shrugged.
or not like solar panels, but the wind turbines.
I think so, yeah.
Are
And
they-
like everything is just all gray and black now. Like all the buildings are like just turning like these like dull looks, and that there's no beauty in life anymore that I see as much.
But did you see that they're gonna build them in the ocean
In the ocean?
or something like that? I seen something like that, and I didn't completely read it, so please don't quote me on it. But I also heard that those things are not recyclable or like really reusable.
Yeah.
Like, and they're just kind of like piling up in a landfill, getting buried. Like, that's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't need no more shit. Like, we're compulsively trying to fix shit, and it's not working. It's not working at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and like even with our food supplies too, it's crazy.
That's
'cause-
nasty shit.
Right? Like if you actually look at like the ingredients of stuff and all that and everything, like whether you go out red 40 or like the biggest thing, soy lecithin. When I researched soy lecithin, which is in like almost all candies and a lot of stuff we consume, it's been linked to so many cases of cancer. Like with males, it's always been colon cancer. With women, it's always been
Bladder
breast
cancer, all kinds of cancer.
Yeah, so it's almost like we have to go back to a time where we have to grow our own food and have our own livestock.
Have you ever seen, my cousin recently told me to look up Almond Factory.
Almond Factory?
So nasty. But I would still drink the almond milk because it contains more than like 60% of my daily value vitamins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you ever look at the back of a almond or like an almond milk box, the ones that are unrefrigerated in the cereal aisle.
For I don't think so.
Yeah, they have so many vitamins, like
Okay.
yeah, per cup or per like 60 milliliters, 120 milliliters. It's just
Okay.
like, it's insane. Yeah,
Damn.
but they're like, the factory is just fucking nasty, dude. Like, you
Ugh.
would never look at almonds the same way. You're like banana nut almond.
Yeah, that's how I feel like chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Once you see how those are made, you're like,
Dude, I used to
Kinda
put those
feel bad.
down.
same.
Yeah, 'cause
McChickens.
I was like 246 pounds before I started MMA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, it still says it on my license.
You're in phenomenal shape. You're killing it.
Thank you. But yeah, like I was, that was me, dude. Like 40-piece McNugget. I'd fucking tear that shit up, put buffalo sauce on it. It's like boneless wings for cheap on the
Yeah.
low.
Yeah. That's what, like, when you're broke, especially in like times like this, you can't help but to go cheap.
Yeah.
And so like McDonald's and Taco Bell is like the two biggest go-tos right now for cheap food.
And do you not crave it? Like, I crave it. I fucking crave it. Like,
Those
I'm
preservatives are addictive.
Like, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that soy stuff you're like kind of talking about with candy, or is that?
Yeah, so it's like all the preservatives and the chemicals and stuff that's in our food now, it's purposely designed also to be addictive. So that's why like you could go through like a 40-piece chicken nugget, or like me, I used to do 2 McDoubles and 2 McChickens in one sitting.
Savage.
And then 2 hours later you're hungry again.
Yeah.
Because it's not genuinely fulfilling for your diet.
But fuck, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald McDonald, what'd you do to us? Bastard.
For real.
And they don't even have pretty good like play centers anymore. Like, do you imagine being that company that was like, I used to have fucking slides and ball pins and all this other shit, and now you're like, what? You got like a fucking box full of like 4 toys?
Mm-hmm.
That's like sad to me.
Yeah. You
just-
see those like those before and after pictures from 20 years ago to now.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, bro.
It's sad as fuck.
That makes me sad. Like the reason why I still eat McDonald's is because of the memories of the jungle gyms in there, the games you get to play in there and whatnot. And now it's just like you're in a cubicle that's just overgrown.
You're 27. You remember when they put those games in there for the first time, huh?
Yeah.
That shit was bad. My mom couldn't drag me out that bitch for nothing. Yeah.
That was my dad's favorite place to take us. 'Cause we'd be on those games forever.
Yeah. But now it's like my uncle recently, he just adopted his kid. Oh, congratulations, Theo.
Hey.
But we took him to Dave & Buster's, and it's like, man, we taking this kid to fucking Dave & Buster's. Ain't no McDonald's around here for this kid to play for free. But they had a good time anyway. So
Nice. And so I always ask this question before I end every show, but if you could have a message or an impact on the younger generations or the youth, and like the example that you want to set for them, what would that message be for them?
Man, that's about this, because it's really hard, like to put everything like in one go. Just like follow your heart, follow your instinct, and always love your family, to me. And unfortunately, like, if you don't come from a family, find something that you can hold on to and something that you can love, because this life is not to be lived alone. And if you're not working, you're not living. So get to work.
I love that. I did an interview with Antoine Ho yesterday, and he said something similar. It's
Very
like,
cool.
I think he said it in regards to like the school system, how like if you just go to work and you work hard on that, but you don't work on yourself, then you're never actually going to grow. So work hard on yourself too.
But also, it's okay to work that 9 to 5. Like, if MMA didn't pan out for me, I am fucking fantastic living a 9 to 5 life, because I know I have my beautiful wife. I have something that would support me, and at the end of the day, like, I have people waiting for me in heaven. Like, we're gonna make it there one day, and we might not know what it is. So even if it's not like a glamorous life, or like a glamorous life, whatever you may call it, it's gonna be something that you love and something that you worked. And then when you look back on it, it's like, damn, I did all that shit, and here we go, we're on to the next step.
Yeah. It that just threw something in my head too, like Anglo-Saxon history, like Beowulf, Sir Gawain, and like King Arthur.
I know the fuck who Beowulf is. I know who the fuck Beowulf is.
I love that. So they never believed in afterlife. Like, they didn't think that there was a heaven. So the way that they wanted to live on was through having a list of achievements, a great story, an epic to tell. And so, like, in tangent with that, like, live your life without having the regret later of regretting what you didn't do.
Yeah.
Even if you have to work the 9 to 5 the rest of your life, or like if you're stuck in a bad situation moving forward, or even like my mindset, even if I completely, utterly fail in everything, at least I could look myself in the mirror and say that I gave it my all, and I don't have to live with that regret.
And you should be proud when you look in the mirror. You're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm a little fluffy right now.
No, we're all a little. Me too. That's okay. But we're all a little fluffy, and even if you're fluffy, that's all right. I would love for people to take my dad just had his he actually just had an amputation from diabetes.
Oh man.
And I wish, like, I see people with diabetes really take care of themselves and stuff like that. I just wish that, like, people would understand that the reason why people get so fluffy is because, like, the way it's set up. It's all a game at the end of the day. It's all a game at the end of the day, and sometimes you just gotta look the other way, or play a little off the board, like, don't go by their rules, don't go by what they're telling you to do, because sometimes it's not the best thing for you. Like I said before, like, instinct, my number one thing. Instinct just always gonna be your number one thing. Now, if your instinct's telling you to go rob a bank and do some crazy shit, like, maybe, like, put it to the side a little bit and cap yourself somewhere, because there are consequences, like real consequences. So maybe not go that crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Speaking of Anho, man, he's got an LFA coming up.
Yeah, on the 22nd, yeah.
Very cool. I actually got to talk to him a little bit at Rough for the first time.
Really?
He's fucking cool, man. I didn't get to say too much because I think I was, like, a little too stoned off the free joints they were giving out and everything, and the bong rips they were doing. But that guy's fucking cool, man.
He is.
He's a highlight reel.
Right? Right? He has such a crazy story too, because, like, he was telling me, he told me and James last time when we interviewed about how, like, he moved from Vietnam, I think, when he was 10, and then he had gone through bullying when he was young, and I think he was like 14 when he came across the UFC gym, and then as soon as he started training, it was just a wrap from there.
Damn, to come to, like, another country, like that's crazy, and especially if you have kids and stuff, like when families bring their children over, I'm assuming that his parents brought him over, or did he come by himself?
Yeah, his parents brought him over.
Yeah, so, like, to be, like, an immigrant's child is, like, that's fucking crazy. That's like a dreamer right there. To walk past the UFC gym and be like, hold up. That was gangster.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. So before I let you go, do you want to give a special shout out?
Yes. Shout out to my gym, Legion MMA. Shout out to Truba Fitness, Motivate Great, my boxing coach, Coach Jason Robinson, Madrid Jiu Jitsu, and then I actually got some other shit here on the front. Method, Dark Horse, and the FNTN. I'm sorry, FTNTN. They pretty much I had a phenomenal camp, as you can tell. I had most of my training sponsored, most of my supplements sponsored, so it really made a difference for being a free agent and shit like that. So it was really shout out to my gym. Like Aleem said, we're a reflection of the men in our gym. So shout out to everyone there. Love you guys.
Hell yeah, I love that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the podcast that'll change the world, and see you in the next one.